Hey dudes, welcome to Splat from the Past, the only 80s themed horror and sci-fi show where things can get totally radical. Now, if you're wondering why music wasn't played today, well, it's not going to be played ever again. We got some copyright peeps cracking down, but don't worry though, things will still be totally radical. Now, today I will be interviewing the quintessential Canadian scream queen, Lesleh Donaldson. You may remember her. She was in such films as Happy Birthday to Me, Funeral Home, Deadly Eyes, Curtains. Now, if one thing that these movies have in common is that other Canadian scream queens I have interviewed on this show, Lisa Langlaws, Lynn Griffin, two other very awesome lady scream queens, they were in these movies with her. And I'm going to be interviewing Lesleh Donaldson today. And I can't wait. It's going to be awesome. Um, let's see. I hope everybody had a happy Thanksgiving. I sure did. Lots of turkey, lots of stuffing, lots of calories. Now I hope the next 5 weeks will go by fast with Christmas coming and everything. And then 2008 will begin. 2018, I should say, will begin. But anyways, let's get the show started.
Hello?
Lesleh?
Yeah, hi.
Hey, it's Tommy. We are live.
Oh, live, hi.
Yeah.
We are live. Those are the words I used to dread hearing. I don't like them much anymore.
Yeah, thank you
How are
so
you?
I am great. Thank you so much for taking the time to do this interview because to
Sure.
me you're the quintessential Canadian scream queen.
Oh, I'm honored. Thank you.
Absolutely. I hope you had a happy Thanksgiving.
I did. Ours was back in October.
Mhm.
But I've lived in the States for many years, so I do miss celebrating American Thanksgiving. So I hope
Nice.
you had a nice one.
Oh, I
Your
did.
Thanksgiving good?
Oh yeah, lots of food, lots of calories.
Yum. Yum, yum, yum.
Yeah.
What
So,
are we going to talk about?
well, last night I watched your first horror movie, Funeral Home,
Mm-hmm.
and
What you think?
I thought it's pretty standard of its time of slasher movies, but I liked it. Yeah, it's a William Fruitt
Yeah.
movie. I like a lot of his movies.
Oh yeah, no, he's great. I mean, it's kind of a hard one to sort of classify as a horror movie in a way. I mean, it is a horror movie, but
Hmm.
it's more like a murder mystery,
Yeah,
kind of, I guess, in that realm because it's not slasher and it's not supernatural, but it's there's a killer and you want to know who it is. So,
hmm,
but it's sort of dark. Noir, I guess. I don't know. It's also very dark. I wish they'd do something and refurbish it somehow because it's very dark to see. I mean, that a lot of the cuts out there are a lot of people complain that they can't really see it very well because it's dark.
right. It should be remastered.
Remastered, yeah, that's the word. So, but William Fruit is amazing. He was amazing to work with.
Hmm.
And I feel like Pruitt and Cronenberg were kind of the Canadian versions of Wes Craven and John Carpenter and Toby Hooper, really.
Yeah, I definitely
They were
agree. Yeah,
they were doing the horror back then. Yeah.
yeah. And Kay Hawtrey, the only other movie I've seen her in is Police Academy 4. In this
Uh-huh.
scene where Bobcat Goldthwait is at this old age home and it's like a poetry night and she's reciting this really deep poem that's making Bobcat cry. It's hella funny. And after she's done, he goes up there and he recites this poem. I once knew a guy named Art and he blew a fart. It's really
Yeah, I,
funny.
I didn't. I don't think I saw that movie, but yeah, Kay Hawtrey's a hoot. She really is. She's a hoot.
Hmm. Yeah, and Harvey Akin
Yeah.
is in it.
Yeah, Harvey Akin, and Barry Morris. and yeah,
How did you
it
get
was
that
a
role?
cool cast. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, how did you get that role?
So basically, I was just auditioned. You know, I got my agent said there's a movie waiting for casting, and at that time it was called Cries in the Night.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a horror movie, and I was very excited to hear that because I grew up watching horror movies. My aunt used to take me to see all the Hammer horror movies.
Yeah.
So when I was a little kid, and of course she would not tell my mother. She would tell my mother she'd taken me to see The Sound of Music or Oliver or something like that, and we'd sneak off to see some scary Dracula movie, Hammer horror movie. So my aunt is the one that corrupted me there. So I was really quite excited that I had a chance to audition for a funeral home. So I guess I guess I was just pretty much what they were looking for. They were looking for, if you may see when you watch the movie that funeral home really is sort of an homage to Little Red Riding Hood meets Psycho.
I agree. Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess I had the Little Red Riding Hood appeal back then. I was 15, so they were looking for, I guess, the girl next door, and I fit the bill. So I got lucky. I got it. It was awesome.
Yes, you were very adorable in it, I have to say.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then you did Happy Birthday to Me, which follows in the tradition of holiday-themed slasher movies like Black Christmas, Halloween, Friday the 13th, My Bloody Valentine, Bloody Birthday, which came out the same year as this.
Right.
And stuff. And you got to work with the legendary J. Lee Thompson, who directed The Guns of Navarone, Cape Fear, What a Way to Go, and just about all the Charles Bronson movies in the 80s.
Yeah, I know, right? I mean, I of course didn't know all that when I was working with him. It wasn't until years later they said, he directed Cape Fear and The Guns of Navarone, and I was like, he did what? He directed what?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I was like, I knew that he was a big director, but I didn't know exactly like what he did. And it was probably a good thing because I can get kind of starstruck. So, he was just this like cool little British man who kept throwing blood at everybody. Like he would just go, if you were in a scene where you're getting killed or your head was on the platter or something, he would just be like, I need more blood, and he'd have this little styrofoam cup where he would literally throw like cups of blood at you just to sort of, fill a spot that might not be filled with blood. So it was hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
It was hilarious, and it was very, very nice. So, yeah, I mean, it was cool working with him, and I got to meet all kinds of my peers that, even though I don't really have any major scenes with them, except for the birth table scene at the end, when we're all sitting around the table, but it was fun. It was a lot of fun to work with, fellow actors that I was, that was the scene back then.
Yeah, Glenn Ford. I mean, he's a legend.
Oh yeah. I never really. I don't think I had a day on the set when he was there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I was ever, because I wasn't in any scenes with him, obviously. But I got to work with Frances Hyland, which was really cool as well, because she's a legend. So that was awesome.
Mm-hmm. And Lisa Langlois, who I actually interviewed a couple months ago, she was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lisa Langlois, she's a good friend now. I mean, we didn't really hang out back then. We just worked together. And then she obviously moved off to, after she did Deadly Eyes, she moved off to L.A.
Mm-hmm.
And we just, we were just two actresses that worked together in two movies, so we never really hung out. Now we're hanging out all the time. She's just the best.
Yeah.
She's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, she's a lot of fun. She's got a real boy sense of humor.
She does. Absolutely. She definitely does.
And Melissa Sue Anderson of Little House on the Prairie was in it. What was she like?
I didn't really get to know her very well. She kind of, and I think it was because of the role, she kind of sequestered herself away from everyone because the character Virginia was sort of ostracized by them. And it talks about how they didn't go to her birthday party when they were all younger.
Mm-hmm.
And so she was trying to assimilate back into the group, and they were, bringing her into the group, but she sort of was an outsider in a way. Her character was kind of an outsider. I actually got to know Tracy Bregman a whole lot better because we were really close in age.
Yeah.
And we just kind of sort of bonded with each other. And whenever I was on the set, I would see her and I would, pretty much hang with her and chit chat with her. So that was cool.
Mm-hmm. And Lenore Zann.
Mm-hmm. Lenore is now in politics.
Yeah, I messaged. Yeah, I messaged her the other day to get an interview and stuff, and I made sure specifically in the message that I told her that I was a Democrat.
Yeah, she's I think she's an MP or something in Truro, Nova Scotia.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, she's in the politics now. She's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Lawrence Dane from Scanners was in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Lawrence Dane. Yeah.
He seems like
cool people.
He seems like he would be intimidating, was he?
Oh no, not at all. I mean, I think I had a couple of days where I was on the set with him, but no, he's hilarious. I remember we were sitting outside the studio, and just chatting, very down to earth, like nice. one of the kids, kind of. Yeah. He plays those characters though. He plays those, those very sort of stern, aloof type characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you did Deadly Eyes, which was directed by Robert Klaus, who did Enter the Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Did you?
I did Curtains before Deadly Eyes. Deadly Eyes was the last one.
Mm-hmm. I'm going in alphabetical order of what IMDb says.
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah, he did do that, and again, it was a situation where I had no clue who Robert Klaus was. I mean, I knew obviously he was a big director and did a lot of stuff, but I didn't realize it wasn't until we did the movie theater scene that I was like, oh, well, we're watching a Bruce Lee movie. Well, that's cool. And somebody's like, yeah, because Robert Klaus directed those movies, and I'm like, no shit. Wow. So yeah, I was again, it's like I just was clueless. I was real clueless back then as to what anybody did.
Mm-hmm. Lisa's really funny in it. I told her when I talked to her that she's really funny when she's like, in that married guy's bed and she's just like acting seductive. She's really funny in that.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sam Groom. Yeah. Yeah. That was it's funny enough because we joke now because she calls me Trudy and I call her Martha. So it's kind of like the roles have reversed in real life. So like I'm the sassy one and she's sort of the more like third one. So she'll come to me and say, so how do I get on a dating site or like what and I'll tell her all the ones to get on. So she's like, thanks, Trudy. And I'm like, no problem, Martha. Just be careful out there. So yeah, it's hilarious how we've kind of our personalities kind of reversed. I don't know if I should have said that. That probably is too much information.
There's no too much information with me.
No, okay, cool.
The legendary Scatman Crothers, what was he like?
Yeah. Again, I was on the set when he was shooting, but I never really got to converse with him. I think this is just a hello. This is like, I know this was Scatman Crothers, and I was just, oh my God. From what he appeared on that day, he was very nice. I mean, he's a legend, right?
Yeah.
So you just sort of stand back in awe.
He was just coming off of The Shining at that point.
Yeah, he had just pretty much done The Shining. Yeah, not too long before. Yeah.
And Sarah Botsford.
Sarah Botsford.
First time I saw her was in the Whoopi Goldberg movie Jumping Jack Flash, where she plays a snooty British socialite, and she's so good in that role for years until I saw this movie. I thought she really was English.
Right. Yeah. No, she can do those roles really well. No, she's Canadian.
Yeah. Lisa said she's very nice and a dream to work with.
Yeah, she is. Very, very much so.
Mm-hmm. Did you get scared of any of the rats in that movie?
No, I didn't, because they were dogs in rat suits. So I just marveled at how they made that work, because they couldn't see, and they were trying to get the costumes off, so they kept shaking their heads. like the side. But the way that they made them move, because they couldn't see into the costume, was that they would have like raw meat kind of a few feet in front of them, so they would all kind of just bounce towards the smell of the meat, and that's how they got them moving. So they were Dachshunds in rat suits. And then, of course, you had the mechanical rats that, did the close-up of fighting, into flesh and stuff like that. So it was not CGI back then, man. It was all, let's figure out how we can make this work.
Yeah. It's so cheesy. No. It's so cheesy now. It's like comparable to King Kong,
Yeah, exactly.
And then, well, you did Curtains before that, but and some of my favorite Canadian actors are in this movie: John Vernon, Kate Lynch, Maury Chaykin, Lynn Griffin.
Yeah, exactly. John Vernon, he's again another who to work with. He was, I kind of felt intimidated by him, but he was very funny.
Yeah.
And Lynn Griffin was awesome. I mean, Lynn Griffin, to actresses like Lisa and myself, she's like the Meryl Streep of Canada. We all wanted to be like Lynn Griffin. We all wanted to be Lynn Griffin, have her career. So such an amazing actress. And so I was like that. I was starstruck with that because I had seen her do a couple of plays before then, and I was always blown away by her performances. So I was really intimidated to get on the set with her. But she's like the nicest person.
Oh yeah.
So down to earth. So yeah. That was really cool.
She's supposed to meet up with me on her next California trip in a couple of weeks.
Oh, awesome. She coming out there?
Yeah, her and Sean, they're both planning on stopping by here on their way to San Diego to visit his family.
Oh, cool. Well, that'll be fun. Say hi to her for me.
Absolutely. Yeah, I told her in this movie, I told her she's really good at telling dirty jokes, and and I told her I think it's because she's got that innocent looking animated face that it really helps.
Oh yeah, I mean she has that sort of Lillian Gish look,
Yeah.
That Mary Pickford look, and and yet she can have a truck driver's mouth, so it's hilarious. It's a hilarious combination.
Yeah. She's saying that she would probably go down on the director to get a part in the movie.
Well, yeah, I think that's a line. Yeah, that's one of her lines in it.
Yeah, it's so ironic to now what's going on in Hollywood.
Oh, I know. We were just talking about that before with some other people that I was talking to about this whole scene. I mean, it is ironic that they're sitting around the dining room table talking about what they would do to get the part.
Yeah.
And, and then one of the actresses, Sandy Warren, says, I'd fuck for it. So, and I'm the one that ended up doing that in the movie. Little innocent Christy.
Yeah.
Well, ironic. But, yeah, I mean, it's that shit isn't going on forever, and it's just been blown out of the water now.
Yeah.
Which is good, so, it's quite a time.
Yeah. I knew Patty was the killer. I just knew it when I first saw it. I knew she was the killer. I don't know. There's just something about it in Lynn's performance that just gave me a gut instinct.
Yeah, she had a little gleam in her eye.
Yeah.
A big gleam in her eye. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was challenging to John Vernon's character too. Yeah.
And this was one of those movies where the producer, the director had difference of opinion.
Yeah, that was it was a very long shoot because it would stop and it would go for long periods of time where they wouldn't shoot anything. And we thought, well, maybe when that's it, they're not gonna finish it. So, they disagreed. But again, it was one of those things where it wasn't up in our face. We didn't, we didn't see it. We just sort of knew that it was kind of happening. There was like feelings of unhappiness and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, Richard wanted to have a sort of giallo feel to the movie. He wanted it to be sort of, dark and mysterious and, with lots of atmosphere. And Peter had just done Prom Night, so he knew it worked.
Yeah.
So He wanted, slash them and gore and slice them up and cut them up in blood and all that stuff. And Richard just didn't. He didn't want that at all. So he wanted it to be more of a story and a mystery and a kind of
psychological.
Yeah, like Dario Argento or something like that. So,
yeah.
So I think there was a lot of like uncomfortable, disagreements.
Mm-hmm.
And and that it culminated with Richard leaving and Peter taking over and and so that's why the movie kind of starts out with a certain tone and it ends in a different tone. So
yeah.
I guess that's what its appeal is, like why it's sort of held up all these years, is that people are fascinated. They want to watch it to see sort of, whoa, where did the split come? And like, it had so much trouble, but let's watch it. It's fascinating to see it on screen. And yeah, so I think it's pretty good. It still holds up today. I've watched it not too long ago, and I actually was like, it's not really that horrible. It's not Sophie's Choice, but hey, it's not like horrible. It's kind of interesting. So
yeah, Lynn told me she did stand up at Yuck Yucks to prepare for the movie, and she would see Jim Carrey there all the time.
Oh yeah. I used to follow Jim Carrey around. I had such a crush on him. First of all, because he was super cute, but also he was incredibly talented, and he was, he could turn his face into any actor that he was imitating, and he was just so super talented and fascinating to watch that I would, anytime I knew he was playing in one of these clubs, I would just be like, I think I will see Jim Carrey.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Did you see his new show?
No, I haven't seen his new show. No.
Yeah, it's called I'm Dying Up Here. It's on Showtime.
Oh. Is that his show?
Yeah, he's the executive producer, but he's not acting in it. No.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes sense.
It's about his days at the Comedy Store.
Oh, cool.
It's kind of
I've heard of it. Yeah, I just haven't had a chance to see it. Now I'm definitely going to check it out.
Oh, it's great. It's the Boogie Nights of stand-up comedy.
Oh, wow.
It reminds me so much of it because it's about the 70s, and
right.
Even though he wasn't there in the 70s, he was in Canada. He executive produced it because it was based on a book that a guy wrote about the Comedy Store in the 70s. And Jim Carrey was trying to get something made about his Comedy Store days and couldn't do it. So then he just combined his ideas with this guy.
Right. Well, that makes sense. That's cool.
Yeah. And I watched I think it was 8 episodes this season. It was great. It got renewed for the next season. I'm really looking forward to it.
Oh, that's cool. Well, you being a comedian, I guess it would resonate with you then.
Absolutely. I mean, the comedy scene is different now than it was back then, but I'd rather be in that comedy scene then than today's, I'll tell you that.
Really? Huh, why is that? Is it just more competitive or...
Oh, it's just as competitive as it ever was, but they got this thing now. You have to. Back then, you only did comedy in comedy clubs. There was no dive bars or coffee houses that had an open mic night. I mean,
and that's what they have now.
Yeah. So what they want you to do now is they want you to hone your craft in the coffee houses and the dive bars, and they want you to build up a following that way so you can come to work in their clubs because it's all about social media now. It's not about talent anymore, and it just...
Well, I think that's the same in every area of the field. So, even as actors, you have what's your number on the Internet Movie Database? How many hits you're getting, or do you have a following, or how many friends you have? I mean, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. So, everything getting parts is all based on that, really. So
it's disgusting.
I hear it's not good. Not good these days. Harder.
Yeah, I've gotten passed up for a couple acting gigs because of that too, and it's just, oh my God. I mean, I hope something's got to give. I hope this is only a temporary thing because it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. No, it really is. I wouldn't want to be starting out now.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, I know actors in your age group who took a long extended break and they're pretty much starting out now again,
Yeah, well, that's me. I mean, I took a very long break. I got married and had kids, and just stepped away from it. Especially when I had my boys, and I just became a mom. And then now I started to. I'm writing more, so I'm looking to go kind of behind the scenes. So, but I've stepped back into acting. But it's really any roles that I get, and I get asked to do because of what I've done.
Yeah.
Thank God I had I did horror movies. Like all I did is horror movies, and now I'm going. I'm glad I did those damn horror movies because there's, the fans. The fans are great. So, yeah, I mean, it's hard to step back into it again. Then the roles are fewer and far between because everything's for young people.
Yeah.
But the writing has been a real godsend to me, so that's what I'm concentrating on now.
I'm a screenwriter. I wrote a couple screenplays I'm trying to get sold.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I got
What genre?
I got horror, I got sci-fi, and
great.
I'm pretty good at writing comedy too.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, congratulations, and good luck with it.
Thanks. I've been writing scripts since I was 12.
Oh, so you've been doing it most of your life. I just sort of came to it later in life. So, and I like to collaborate. So I have a writing partner, and it's so much fun to work with her. I mean, and get our ideas gelled together, and yeah. I mean, it's hard and it's scary, but it's really rewarding if it works out.
Well, how I got into it, my mom has a friend that she worked with. He wrote 12 Monkeys.
Oh, wow. The movie.
Yeah.
No.
It got changed. It got changed though when it was released to the public.
Wow.
But he wrote 12 Monkeys and he wrote a couple others. I think he wrote Enemy of the State also. I'm not sure, but it influenced me to start writing. My first.
What's his name?
His name is Eric. I always forget his last name. It's German.
Okay.
It's a German name. I always forget his last name. But yeah, the first script I wrote when I was 12, I wrote a porno version of Blade Runner.
What's that?
When I was 12 years old, my first script I wrote was a porno version of Blade Runner.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Porno version of Blade Runner. Wow.
Yeah, it was called Blade Runner.
Blade Runner. Oh God.
It was a terrible script. I threw it away after I wrote it.
Right. Well, that's how you practice, right?
Right. I wish I kept it in hindsight just to see how bad it is, so I can compare it to what I'm writing now.
Yeah. Sometimes things are so bad they're good.
Yep.
You never know.
I wanted to bring up. You did a Disney TV movie called The Undergrads.
I did. Yeah, with Art Carney. Speaking of comedians, yeah.
Yeah. What was that like?
Oh, incredible! Because I was raised watching The Honeymooners.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it was really, really quite awesome to be in the same room with him. And he's just amazing, so down to earth. Just here's this big icon, and he's just the coolest guy. So,
You're the second person who has told me that Art Carney was really great to work with, because I heard, when he was younger, on The Honeymooners, he was an absolute tyrant.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Wow.
Oh, him and Gleason clashed all the time on that, and Gleason was the biggest tyrant of them all.
Wow.
You know?
Maybe he had to tyrant up in order to get respect. You never know.
Maybe. Yeah.
He had to step it up to be sort of on par with Gleason, because sometimes that happens.
Either that or the Academy Award humbled him.
Yeah, or that. Exactly.
Harry and Tano, I love that movie. He's so good in it.
Yeah, no, he was a great actor.
You had really good chemistry with Chris Makepeace.
He did. Yeah, he did.
I mean, you did, though.
Oh, yeah, no, Chris was great to work with. He was sort of out in Hollywood, sort of getting a go of it, trying to get his career established and working in some pretty cool movies. He just did The Falcon and the Snowman.
Meatballs.
In the undergrad.
My Bodyguard.
My Bodyguard, exactly. So, yeah, no, he was, again, really, really fun to work with. We knew, I think he went to Jarvis as well. I went to Jarvis about a year to high school here, nervous, but we have a lot of the same mutual friends.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that helped in that, we knew a lot of the same people, so we kind of had a rapport
Mm-hmm.
already. So yeah, he was fun. He was a nice guy.
Yeah. I hope he makes a comeback one day because he's a good actor.
Yeah, he is. I don't know if I heard that he's, again, like the same thing, writing or directing or going behind the scenes. I don't know. I feel like that's where he ended up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is it true you auditioned for Amadeus?
I did. Yeah, I screen tested. Yeah, I mean, it was crazy because I had a huge thing for Milos Forman because I had just seen Hair
Yeah.
about 19 times in the theater. I was obsessed with that movie. People were running off to the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and I was running off to Hair. So, getting that chance to audition for him, meet him, go to his apartment, have him work with me on the scene, and then do a flipping screen test. And the next day, before Thomas Hulse did his, was just incredible. It was just incredible. And he's so amazing, Milos. He's just so there, so giving as a director. I would have just killed to have been in that. But yeah, it was funny because I had gone in, I was doing my screen test, and I walked out of the room, and Thomas Hulse is is standing outside in the hallway. He's clapping his hands because I had met Thomas Hulse a couple of years earlier. I did a play in Winnipeg, The Diary of Anne Frank, and he was doing The Seagull with Kathleen Turner right before our play went up. Mm-hmm. So I had a chance to meet him there. So I already kind of knew him. So he came out in the hallway and he started clapping. That was really good. That was really good. And I just pointed my finger at him. I just went, yes, yes, yes. This part is you. Yes, yes. And of course he got it and won the Oscar. So it was fantastic. So yeah, it was a really cool experience.
Yeah. My first interview was Diane Franklin, and she auditioned for Cynthia Nixon's part in Amadeus.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, it's really funny because I auditioned for her part in the Amityville movie that she did.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which would have been really wild because Tanya Alda, who's a friend of mine.
Mine too.
Played her mother.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I know, yeah. She was, she played the mother, and then, of course, I have her, in my mind's eye to be my mother in this television pilot that I've written, so, yeah.
I love Rutanya, yeah. To wake up and to get a notification that she liked one of your dirty jokes, it's like the biggest honor in the world for me.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah. She's awesome. She's a lovely lady. She's really sweet.
Mm-hmm. And a couple of years ago, you were in Tales of Poe.
Yeah, I did. I was in The Telltale Heart.
Mm-hmm.
It's a trilogy movie, and it's The Telltale Heart, the cast of Amontillado, and then a sequence called Dreams. And sorry, excuse me, I'm doing it. And so I was in the first one, The Telltale Heart, with Eleanor Kelly and Debbie Rochon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm interviewing Adrienne King on Friday.
Oh, very cool. Very cool.
I met her at a convention back in April, and the writer of Tales of Poe was there, and she introduced me to him. I forget his name.
Bart Mastronardi?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a lovely man. Yeah.
He is. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was really cool. But
yeah, it was fun.
Do you ever do signings at conventions?
I do. I just did one at the Horrorama here in Toronto. I've done a few. I don't go to many.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I don't go to many because a lot of the younger people that I guess set up the conventions or run the conventions don't really know who Lisa and I are. So they go for the obvious ones.
Yeah.
Because they're the biggest names to get people there. So, but yeah, I mean, I'd love to do more.
Yeah, I've suggested Lisa for a couple California conventions.
Mm-hmm.
I can
Yeah.
suggest you too if you'd like.
Sure. Why not?
Yeah,
That'd be fun.
I would love to meet you at a convention. You sound like a lot of fun, Lesleh.
Sometimes I can be. It'd be nice to meet you too.
Yes, and
Cool.
I thank you so much for taking the time today.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for podcasting with me. This is great.
Yes, this was a lot of fun, and I'll be in touch with you on Facebook. And
Sounds good.
you see anything funny on my page, don't hesitate to like it.
I won't. I'll definitely like it for sure.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks, Tommy. This is awesome. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Lesleh. Have a great evening.
You too. Thanks. Talk to you later.
Okay. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Well, there you have it, Lesleh Donaldson. Ain't she a sweetheart? Thank you, Lesleh, so much. That was an awesome interview. You're a lot of fun. You're such a sweet lady. If you like this video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and follow me on Twitter and add me as a friend on Facebook. Well, that's all the time we have this week on Splat from the Past. Until next time, this is Tommy Throwback Kovac saying there's no shame in living in the past because the present sucks. Later, dudes.